everyone, welcome to our channel Knowledge of Friends. सब्सक्राइब टू अवर चैनल एंड क्लिक द बेल आइकन फॉर द लेटेस्ट अपडेट। आज हम लोग की जो क्लास है वो आईएम की क्लास करेंगे आज, जो कि इंडस्ट्रियल मैनेजमेंट की क्लास है। इंडस्ट्रियल मैनेजमेंट की क्लास की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो दिस इज़ योर क्लास 8 एंड आज हम जो डिस्कस करेंगे वो यूनिट 4 डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, जो कि क्वालिटी कंट्रोल है आपका नाम। एंड यूनिट 3 ऑलरेडी अगर मैं रेफरेंसेस की बात करती हूँ तो मैंने यूनिट 1, यूनिट 2 एंड यूनिट 3 हम ऑलरेडी कंप्लीट कर चुके हैं। यूनिट 4 आज की क्लास में हम स्टार्ट करेंगे एंड होपफुली इस क्लास में ही, अगर ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं जाता है क्लास, so we'll end up with this as well. In the class we'll start with the quality here first of all, because the name of the chapter unit is the quality control. So what we have to know is all about the first, we have to know about the quality, then after that we'll understood about the control, and then enhance, in summary that we'll understood about the quality control here. So we'll start with quality here. First of all, it's a huge request to all of you. So जो हमारे चैनल फर्स्ट टाइम दिख रहे हैं, अभी तक आपने हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, it's a huge request to all of you. Please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. In the reference towards the quality here, as you can see here, that the quality is meeting the customer requirement, gives people in a different functions of an organization a common language of the improvement here. In the reference to the quality here, the quality enables the people with the different abilities here, in the terms of the abilities, and that have different abilities to communicate, and that the quality enables the people with the different abilities and the priorities to communicate readily with one another in the pursuit of the common goal as well. In the reference towards the quality, if I'm talking about here, the definitions of quality that has been given by many of it, the first definition I'm talking about, you can just write it down if you are making a notes here. So that is that meeting or exceeding the customers' expectations at price that represents the value to them, that has been said by the Harrington, and that the fitness for the purpose of the use, that has been said by the Jordan here, and that is the totally of the features and the characteristics of a product or the services that bears on its ability to satisfy the stated or employed needs, that has been said by the quality vocabulary, that the international terms you can say that. And the fourth definition we have is that the total composite product and the services characteristics of marketing, engineering, manufacturing and maintenance through which the product of the services is used or will meet the expectation by the customer, that has said by the Feigenberg. And these were the four definitions. This is normal definition that we had discussed about it, and that is used here. In the reference towards it, that the following aspects have to be incorporated in the definitions of quality. The first we have the first aspect we have is that is the conforming to specification here. The second is that fitness for use. The third is the customer satisfaction. The fourth is that delighting the customers, and the fifth is to enchanting the customers. These were the five aspects to be incorporated in the definitions of quality here. In the regard of it, we can say that that the quality has 8 dimensions as well. The dimensions we have is that the first is your performance, the second is the features, and the third is the reliability, and the fourth is the conformance, and fifth is the durability, and the sixth is the serviceability, and the seventh is the aesthetics, and the eighth is we have a repetition. These were the 8 dimensions we are dealing with the reference towards the quality here. In the terms of the quality, these were the 8 dimensions that we are dealing with, and with regard of it, I will just tell you once that you can just write it down if you are making the notes as well. So the first dimension is here, that is the performance. The second is the feature. Third is the reliability. Fourth is the conformance here, and the fifth is the durability. The sixth is the serviceability, and the seventh is the aesthetic, and the eighth is the reputation here. Now we'll discuss about the 4 aspects of quality. कि 4 aspects of quality क्या होते हैं. In the reference to all the 4 aspects of quality, to produce the good quality for the customer, you must therefore decide in advance what quality of the product to plan, produce and the sell as well. In the following are the 4 aspects of quality, that the first is the Q, that is the quality. The second is the C, that is the cost. The third is the D, that is delivery, and the fourth we have is the S, that is services here. Okay, in the reference towards it, these were the 4 aspects of the quality here. In the reference towards the quality here, that the quality characteristics in their narrow sense, performance, purity and strength, dimensions, tolerance, appearance and reliability, lifetime fractions defective, reward fraction, adjustment ratio and packing the method, etc. In the reference towards the cost here, the characteristic related to the cost and the price, that is the profit, cost control and a profit control as well, yield, unit cost and losses, and productivity, raw material cost, production cost, fraction defective, and as well as the overfills cost, price and the selling price and profit, etc. For the reference towards the delivery, that is a D here. In the referred towards it, that the characteristics related to the quantities and let the times, that the quantity control, the production volume, the sales volume, the changes of the over losses, the inventory, consumption, lead time, changes in the production's plan, etc. The quality control is impossible without the numerical data as well. So now we'll discuss about the S1, that is your services here. In the services, that the problem arises after the product has been shipped, product characteristics requiring the follow-up. These were the comes under these four aspects of the quality. The first we have is your quality, the cost, delivery, and as well as the services here. So now we understood about the quality control. What is the unit, what we have as unit name, that is the quality control. In that form of the quality control, if I'm talking about, first we have to be gathered about it, the quality control is a crucial part of managing a successful company. The operational techniques and the activities that are used to fulfill the requirements for the quality, that are called quality control. In the terms of the definitions, if I'm talking about the quality control, the definitions of quality control we have is that the quality control is a set of measures and procedures to follow in order to ensure that the quality of the product is maintained and improved against a set of benchmarks, and that are errors encountered are either eliminated or reduced as well. In the terms of the quality control is an act of ensuring that the company's goods and services and are built and delivered to spec as well, on time and at the appropriate cost as well. The third definitions of quality control that we have is the process of inspecting the product to ensure that they meet the required quality standard, that is called quality control. Now we'll talk about the objectives of quality control. The main aim to the quality control is to maintain the quality standards of the product or the services. The important quality control objectives we have, the first we have is to maintain the standards of quality in an economical way here. The second objective we have is to observe and analyze the extent of the quality deviation. The third objectives we have is to determine the cause of the quality deviation. The fourth objective we have is to apply the corrective measures to achieve the real goal of quality control. The fifth objective we have is to avoid the reaching lower quality material to the customer. And the sixth is to take different measures to improve the quality product as well. Now we'll discuss about the advantages of quality control, that what we have to discuss in a deep here. In the reference towards the advantages of the advantages of quality control, that the major advantages of quality control that we have, the first advantages is that the quality of the product is improved, which is in turn increased sales. And the second advantage is that scrap, rejections and then rework are minimized, thus reducing the wastage, and that the cost of the manufacturing reduces. The third is that the improvement in manufacturers and the consumer relationship. The fourth we have is uniformity in the quality can be achieved. The fifth advantages is that the good quality product improves the reputation. And the sixth advantages we have is that the inspection cost reduces to a great extent here. In the regard of it, we'll go ahead with another one, and that is the fourth advantages. And these were the advantages that you have to be discussed in in a very well order here. Now we discuss about the statistical quality control, जिसे हम SQC बोलते हैं. The statistical quality control की अगर हम बात करते हैं, in the reference toward the statistical quality control, the statistical quality control SQC is a term used to describe the set of statistical tools deployed for evaluating the organizational quality by the quality professionals. Statistical quality controls can be divided into the following three broad categories. The first category is the descriptive statistics. The second is the statistical process control, that is SPC, and the third is the acceptance sampling here. In the reference to the acceptance sampling, that we'll discuss in a deep in all the three statistical quality control SQC here. The first we have is a descriptive, that is statistic here. In the descriptive statistic, there are the statistics used to describe certain quality characteristics such as the central tendency and the variabilities of the observed data. It also describes the relationship. Descriptive statistic includes the statistics such as that we can say that such as mean, standard deviations, the range, and the measure of the distribution of the table as well. The second we have is the statistical process control, that is SPC here. It consists of the statistical tool that involves inspecting a random sample of the output from the process and deciding whether the process is producing product with the characteristics that fall within a predetermined range. The SPC answers the questions whether the process is functioning properly or not, and these tools are very important for the process since they help in identifying and catching a quality problem during the production process as well. The third we have is the acceptance sampling here. It helps in evaluating whether there is a problem with quality and whether desirable quality is being achieved for a batch or a product. Accepting sampling consists of the process of randomly inspecting a sample of goods and deciding whether to accept the entire lot based on the results, and this sampling decides whether a batch of the good is to be accepted or rejected here. In the regard of it, with reference to the statistical quality control here, that statistical quality control, that is SQC, involves the applications of the 14 statistical and analytical tools, that is we can say that 7 QC that we'll discuss here, 7 QC and 7 SAP here. To monitor the process output, that is a dependent variable here. In the statistical process control, that is SPC, is the application of the same 14 tools to control the process input and dependent variables, and although both the terms are often used interchangeable, statistical quality control includes the acceptance sampling where the statistical process control does not. In the reference towards it, we'll discuss about here, that is the quality control, that is SQ7QC tools here. In the regard of it, in 1974, Dr. Kaoru Ishikawa brought together a collection of process improvement tools in his text guide to quality control, known around the world as the 7 quality control, that is SQC, and tools they are: the first we have is the flow charts, the second is the control chart, the third is the histogram, the fourth is the Pareto diagram, and the fifth is the cause and effect diagram, also called as Ishikawa or the fishbone chart as well. And the sixth we have is the check sheet, and the seventh we have is a scatter diagram. These were the 7 quality controls that tools that are using here. Now we'll discuss about the 7 supplementals, that is 7 SAP tools here, and that we have here is: the first is your data, that is data statistification. The second is the defect maps. The third is event logs, and the fourth we have here is the process flow charts or map, and the fifth is the program centers, the fifth is randomization, and the seventh is the sample size determination. These were the 14 tools that has been used by the statistical quality control here that is used. And in addition to the basic 7 QC's tools, there are also some additional statistical tools that are also known as 7 supplement, that is the 7 sub that we had discussed here. In the first one, with reference towards it, we'll go ahead with any detail, and that what we have to discuss here. As you can see here, in the reference to the flow charts, now we'll discuss deep in a reference towards it. And as you can see there, the reference towards the flow chart here. In the reference toward the flow chart, this is one of the basic quality tool that can be used for analyzing and sequence of events, and the flow chart map out of the sequence of events that take place sequentially or in the parallel way. In this, a chart showing the flow of material, product, and in the information that can help greatly to visualize the sequence of events as well. In the reference towards the flow chart, if I'm talking about here, that it is manufacturing the company, a flow chart might show that the steps in the producing the particular product here. In the regard of it, we can say that the flow chart can be used to understand a complex process in order to find a relationship and dependencies between events. The flow chart gives the idea about the critical path of the process and events involved in the critical path. Flowchart can be used for any field to illustrate the complex process in a simple way as well. In the reference towards the second one, that is the control charts here. In the control charts are used in the quality control or monitor and a control process. The primary objective is to make the timely decision about whether or not a particular process is in a statistical control or not. In any of the process, there will be a variations from the one measurement or the unit produced to the next, and if the variation is due to the purely random or the chance causes, the process is said to be a statistical control here. If variations occurs because of the machine changes, operators or the inspector error or the other assignable cause, the process is said to be out of the control as well. In the control charts, that the control charts are at in the management of the exceptions, that is approach to maintaining the quality. A manager does not want to stop the process when it is operating in a stable manner and with its natural tolerance, but on the other hand, when it is likely that the process has changed, attempts to identify the cause of the change should be made. There are the two basic types of a control here, that the control charts we have. The first is the control charts for the variables, and the second is that the control charts for the attributes. In the term of the variable, if I'm talking about here, so in the terms of that variable, that the variable control charts are used to control a measurable characteristics here. In the regard of it, we can say that with reference towards we can say that here in reference towards that the attribute control chart control accountability characteristic as well. Now we'll discuss about the histograms here, and histograms are characterized in a further way as well. In the histograph here, the histogram is a bar chart showing a distributions of variable parameters. Histograph is a graphical representation of the frequency distributions of the variable parameter as well. Histogram is a series of rectangular shapes, graphs of equal width and varying heights as well. So there are the various histograph shapes. The first we have is that the normal histograph. Normal histograph is look like this, and a common pattern is in the bell shaped and curved as known as the normal distribution. This has been known as. The second we have is a skewed. This is a skewed type. The skewed distribution is asymmetrical because a natural natural limit prevents comes on one side, and the distribution peak is off center towards the limit, and that tail stretches away from it. And in the regard of it, and where we'll have a third one that we have here is that is the double peaked or a bimodal. In reference towards this one, that is the bimodal distributions look like the back of the two humped camel, and the outcome of the two processes with the different distributions are combined in one set of a diagram here data. Let's go ahead with another one, that is your plateau here. As you can see here, this is a plateau here, and in the reference towards the plateau, now we'll discuss more over regarding it. The plateau one here, this is the plateau might be called a multi-modal distribution. The several processes with the normal distributions are combined because there are many peaks close together, and at the top of the distribution resembles a plateau here. So here with regard of it, that's the name of the edge peak. In the edge peak, the edge of peak distributions looks like a normal distribution, except it has a large peak on a tail. And the next one we have is a comb here. This is in a comb distribution, the bars are alternately tall and short as well. The distributions often results from the rounded off data and or an incorrectly constructed histogram as well. Now we'll discuss about another one, and that is your truncated or the heart cut here. The truncated or a hard cut here, the truncated distributions look like a normal distribution with the tail out of here. And the next we have is a dog food. In the dog food, the dog food distribution is missing something, results near the average. So this is dog food here. And now we have a Pareto. Pareto is that Pareto analysis is one of the 7 basic quality tools, and it is a statistical technique in a decision making that is used for selection here. And this is the fourth type after the histograph. These were type of the histograph that we are discussing here. In the Pareto here, that is of an unlimited number of the tasks, and that will produce a significant overall effect as well. In the Pareto chart, if I'm talking about in the reference towards the Pareto chart, in a Pareto chart, this is a graphical representation that displays the data order of the priority, and it can be powered tool for the identifying the relative importance of the cause, and most of which arises from one of the few processes have an 80 to 20 scale. And Pareto chart is used to define the problems, to set their priorities, to illustrate the problems detected, and determine their frequency in the process as well. The Pareto analysis is used to focus the problem solving activities so that the areas creating most of the issues and the difficulties are addressed first. And this was the frequency here, this was the causes, and this is the cumulative percentage here. This is 100%, and according to that, the data has been given in a short time period, and this has been the Pareto charts here. The difficulties associated with the Pareto analysis that what we have to discuss is the first difficulty is that misrepresentations of the data. The second is the inappropriate measurements depicted. Third is the lack of the understanding of how it should be applied to particular problem. And the fourth is that knowing when and how to use the Pareto analysis. And the fifth is that inaccurate plotting of cumulative percentage data here. Now we'll discuss about the overcoming the difficulties here. That overcoming these difficulties is to define the purpose of the using the tool, and the second is to identify the most appropriate measurement parameters. The third is to use check sheets to collect the data for the likely measure cost, and the fourth is to arrange the data in the descending order of the values and calculate and percentage frequency and or the cost of the cumulative percent as well. The fifth we have is that the plot the cumulative percent through the top right side of the first bar, and this of course the sixth one is the carefully scrutinize the result as well. Now we'll go ahead with the deep that we have is another one, that is your fifth type here that we had discussed here, and that we have the fifth we have is that is the cause and effect cost and effect diagram. In the cost and effect diagram that were developed by the Dr. Kawan Ishikawa for the use in the quality control. As a result, they are often called the Ishikawa or the fishbone diagram as well, since they resembles the skeleton of the fish, and they are used to identify to organize the potential cause of defects in the process as well. A cause and the defect diagram can be used in the brainstorming sessions as the communications tool to ensure that all potential causes of the problem have been identified. These causes can be then studied and displayed in a Pareto chart to determine which potential cause should be addressed first. The construction of the cause and effect diagram is simple. First, identify the problem and effect that is to be addressed and make this effort the backbone of the diagram. Next, identify the possible general categories of the causes of the problem, and then add branches or supporting the bones to the diagram showing the specific cause as well. The major objective is to identify all the potential causes of the problem so that the corrective actions can be started individually with the little that or no statistical ability that can be taught to use these diagrams to help the define and solve problem as well. In the regard of it, and the cause and effect diagram are useful for promoting the process improvement on the priority basis and accumulating and organizing the knowledge and technology that is consolidating the ideas of all in the employees for the control related activities and facilitating the discussions, that is education and a variety of the other aspects of the human relation as well. In regard of it, there are also useful for all the kinds of quality, quantity, delivery time and the cost control activities in a new product development and research and the development, new plant construction, etc. Since they can easily understood by anyone, they are one of the most important tool for the QC promotions and implementation. The cause and effect, that is CE, the diagram for the quality improvement of a component is shown with the overall effect is the quality improvement of the product and the identical measures that are meant and machine material as well as the work method specification and the environment has been done. In regard of it, we'll discuss with another one, and that we have is a scatter diagram. In the scatter diagram are often used to study the relationship between the two variables such as the temperature versus pressure, defects versus time and so on. In the regard of it, the one variable is plotted on an x-axis and the other on the y-axis, and the point represents the xy pairs as well. In the case of the scatter diagram, the scatter diagram are very useful in showing the trends in the correlations between the variations and are often to the first steps in many quality investigation. They are aimed at initial improvement in process and then for the continuous improvement as well. Another use of the scatter diagram is as a communication tool in a problem analysis, and these diagram have proved very useful in helping a group of the individuals in the brain storming session to focus on only the important issue as well. In addition, they can be used to help the group reach a consensus by the graphically showing the outliers and or the individuals whose opinions are different from those of the group as well. The next we have is your we have is the check sheets here. In the case of the check sheets, the check sheet is a simple form that is used for displaying and organizing the data as they are conflicted. And in its simplest form, a check sheet can be be a tally of various events of interest. And for example, a product may experience the several types of defects. A check sheet could be used to tally the frequency of each defect type, and often the workers who will do the actual inspections and the data gathering are providing with the pre-printed check sheets, which makes the collections much easier. And it is also provided consistent vehicles for ensuring that all the data are displayed in the same manner, and which makes it easier for the decision makers to read and interrupt the information as well. There are many different types of the check sheets. The check sheet could be used to organize the data in preparation for the presentations on the histogram. In any event, the main purpose of the check sheet is to enable the data collectors to systematically present the data of the meaningful way and in the form of the traceable at a later date as well. In the regard of it, for example, we can say that in a control chart, the concept of the searching for the assignable cost of out of control the condition will be addressed, and the use of the symmetric data gathering techniques can be greatly help to find out these causes, and especially when the problem is related to incorrect and the data is gathering and reporting as well. In the reference towards it, the advantages and the limitations of the statistical quality control, that what we have to discuss here. The advantages of statistical quality control. The first advantages is that SQC gives an early warning of defects. It provides a means of detecting the errors at inceptions there. And the second advantages we have is that SQC leads to more uniform quality of production. The third is the SQC network rework and the scrap are minimized. The statistical quality control avoids the need for and the cost of cent a percent inspection by pointing out the trouble spots. The fourth is that the SQC helps to maintain the customer relationship by ensuring the uniformly high quality. The fifth is it reduces the inspection cost. The sixth, the SQC helps to avoid the unnecessary machine adjustment so long as the process is in the state of the control. The seventh is that the SQC provides the basics for the attainable specification. The eighth is it points out to the bottleneck and trouble spot. The ninth is it provides a means of the determining the capability of the manufacturing process. And the tenth is it promotes the understanding and appreciations of quality control as well. The 11th is that the SQC improves the relationship between the customer. The 12th is that SQC reduces the number of rejects and saves the cost of the material as well. Now we'll discuss about some of the limitations of SQC here. In the limitations of SQC, there are when a simple of the items drawn from the lot in as not a true representative of the entire lot, and where it does not have the same characteristic as the lot from which it is drawn, and then a good lot may be rejected and a bad one may be accepted. This is the main limitations of SQC. The second limitation we have is that the SQC cannot be used mechanically and for any production process without studying the process and without adequate knowledge about it. And SQC applied on a production process provides only the information that the process is under the control or out of the control. It cannot take any actions for improvement as well. The fourth we have is the SQC involves a mathematical and statistical problem in the process of analysis and interpretations of the variations in quality. The fifth we have is that the SQC provides only information services as well. Now we'll discuss about the quality control here as control charts here. In the reference towards it, they can ask you what is the control chart, state the purpose and the advantages of the control chart. So now we'll discuss ahead with the deep in the control charts here, and that what we have to discuss, that the control charts is a statistical tool to distinguish between the process variations resulting from the common cause and the variation resulting from the special cause. In the references towards it, the control chart is a graph used to study how a process changes over time, and data are plotted in time order as well. Control here the control chart always have a central line and for average, and an upper line and for the upper control limit, and the lower line for the lower control limit. These lines are determined from the historical graph as well, and by comparing the current data to these lines, you can draw the conclusion about whether the production process variation is consistent, in control, or in unpredictable, or out of control, or affected by spatial cause of variation. These versatile data collections and as well as the analysis that come across within that tool can be used by a variety of the instructions, and that are considered of the 7 basis quality quality control as well. In the regard of it, where we can see that the control charts for the variable data are used in the pairs, and the top charts monitors that the average and the centraling or the distribution of the data from the process, and the bottom chart monitors that the range or width of the distribution as well. In the regard of it, if your data was shots in the target practices, the average is whose where the shots are clustering, and the range is how tightly they are clustered. Control charts for the attribute data are used singly here. In the reference towards this, what are the purposes of the control chart? So in the case of the purposes of the control charts here, that what we have is the first purposes is to monitor a process for those spatial causes of variations that can be occur, and remove them so they can don't occur again. The second purpose is to estimate the process average. Another purpose is to estimate the variations that's spread in the histogram as well. The third is to judge the impact of the process improvement efforts, and the fourth is that to differentiate between the spatial cause and the common cause variation, and the fifth is to assess the effectiveness of the changes as well. Now we talk about the advantages of the control charts here. The first advantages we have is that the real-time spacing helps reducing the margin of the error. The second is the visibility into the data prevents over the tampering. The third advantages we have is a control chart indicates whether the process is in control or out of control. Thus information about the selection of process and the tolerance limit are provided. The fourth advantages we have is that the control charts separate out of the chances and assignable cause of the variation in that observation. The substantial quality improvement is possible as well. The fifth advantages we have is to determine the process variability that and detects the unusual variations taking place, so the reputations of the concerned firm that can be built by the application by these charts as well. In the regard of it, we can say that now we'll understood about the need of why we need of the control charts here. Now we'll discuss that. I will go ahead with why need of the control charts, why required of. In the case of that, the control charts are used in the quality control of the monitors and controller process. The primary objective is to make the timely decisions about the whether or not a particular process is in a statical control. In any process, there will be a variations from the wall measurements or the unit produced in the next as well, and if the variation is due to the purely random or the chances that cause, and the process is said to be in a statistical control. If the variations occurs because of the machine changes, operators and the inspectors errors, or the other assignable cost of the product is said to be out of the control. The control charts are an aid in the management of the exceptions, that is approach to maintaining the quality. A manager does not want to stop a process when it is operating in the stable manner with its natural tolerance, but on the other hand, when it is likely to be that process that can be change attempts to identify the cause of the change that should be made here. The reference towards it, the constructions of control chart, we will discuss about it. And the control chart that is based on the measurements of the quality characteristics such as length, diameters, and are called control charts for the variable as well. In the regard of it, we'll go more over, so you can see that the types of charts we have is the X charts and the Y charts here. In the X charts here, that is the X chart, this is X bar charts here, that has been represented like this. This is a sample number. This is X bar. And now coming towards it, this is your R charts. This is R, and this is subgroup number, and this is R bar chart. So in the reference towards it here, that is the X bar chart is used to control the variations in mean and average of the measured data of the samples by controlling the process, and R chart is used to control the variation in the range of the measured data of the sample of the controlling process as well. So now we'll discuss about the control here, that is the control charts for the attributes. And in the R chart, that is R chart is used to control the variations in the range of the measured data that of the sample by the controlling process as well. In the regard of it, the controls, we can say that the control charts for the attribution, that the attributes control the charts are used when the information is not measured as number for the reflects qualitative characteristics like defects, goods or the back, etc. here. In the terms of it, we'll discuss about the types here. The types is the P chart, the NP chart, and of course the C chart and the U chart here. In the reference towards it, we'll discuss all in one. These were the types of attribute here, and these were the types of control charts here. In the reference to the P chart, NP chart, C chart, and of course the U chart here, that will go ahead with the deep here. In the P chart, if I'm talking about here, so in the reference to the P, you have to understand these were the types of chart, that is the P chart, NP chart, and the C chart, as well as the U chart. In the reference towards this, the uses of control chart, what we have to understood about when controlling the ongoing process by the finding and the correcting the problems as they occur. The second use that we have is when predicting is the expected range of the outcome from the process. The third control is that when determining the whether a process is stable in a statistical or control or not. The D is that when analyzing the patterns of the process, variations from the spatial cause, non-routine events, or the causes that built into the process as well. The fifth we have is when determining the whether your quality improvement project should be aimed to prevent the specific problem or to make the fundamental changes to the process as well. I will discuss about the types of controls here. So we'll discuss about the types of control charts. The control charts fall into the two categories, that is the variable attributes and the variables and the attributes as control charts. The control chart is divided into the variable charts and the attribute chart. In the variable data are represented in the measurement on the continuous scale, such as the thermometer, a weighing scale, or a tape rule here. And in the attribute data, that are the data that is counted, for example, as a good or a defective, and as possessing or not possessing a particular characteristic here. This is the continuous numerical data, and this was the categorical or discrete numerical data. The variable charts are divided into two, that is the R chart and the X bar chart. The attribute charts are divided into two, that is the P chart and the C chart here. In the reference towards the X chart here, that is X bar chart here, the centralized of the X bar chart is usually set up the overall or the grand mean that has been calculated, that as I told you many times when we are talking about the other subjects and finding out the mean here, that is the x1 plus x2 plus x3 and so on till the x whatever that the addition is, that upon 8. So this is 1g, that is the sigma g I equals to 1, and then f x I bar. This is the formula that if you had a study about the mass, you have well known about it. This is the G, that is the total number of the subgroups, and the range R for each of the subgroup can be calculated as the differences between the largest and the smallest value for of each of the group. Most textbooks on the quality control presents the following equation for computing these sigma, upper, lower, and the control limits of the X bar charts as well. In the regard of it, upper control limit, that is X bar chart, that we can say that here, that is the represented by UCL, upper chart control limit, that is X bar chart. UCL is equals to X bar plus A2R bar, and the lower limit is X bar chart is that CLX bar is, that is X bar minus A2R bar. In the upper limit, that we have to add on, and if for the lower limit we'll have to minus it out. In the refer to A2 and X R bar is an estimate of the three sigma and that of X bar, and A2 is the constant for the dependence of the subgroup, the sample size as well. In the regard of it, using the X control charts, the advantages we have is, since each data point is plotted as shown here, that as soon as it appears, this types of the charts enables that the state of the process to be evaluated rapidly and a quick action to be taken. The chart shows the graphically how a process varies over the time, and this has a good motivational effect. Even in such a graph is not very useful as control chart. And the third advantages that we have is that when there is a large fluctuation or the periodicity in a process, or when the process average undergoes a sudden large changes, this type of chart clearly shows that how the charge occurs, and its power of the test as a control chart may be better in some cases. Now we'll discuss about the disadvantages over here, that what we have to discuss. Here we'll discuss about the disadvantages now. So the disadvantages, the first disadvantages we have is that there is a larger scope of making the type second error. That in other words, we can say that the chart's power of the test is poor, and this is because the ability of the X bar charts to detect the abnormalities generally that is the deteriorates as the size of the subgroups and it decreases. The second is that the most important features of the control chart, that the rational subgrouping is unclear, and within the subgroup and between the subgroup variation is obscured. The third is that since the average is not taken, the pattern of the points is distorted, and when the population distributions is not normal distribution, and the probability of making an error is altered as well. Now we'll talk about the R chart here. In the reference toward the R chart, the central lines of the R chart is the set of the mean of the subgroup ranges. That is the R bar is equals to R1. That's as after I told you here. That is the R bar is equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3 till R of G, and that is equals to 1 upon G sigma G I equals to 1 Ry here. The upper and the lower control limits at the three standards deviations are usually computed from. At the upper control limit, that is R chart, that is UCLR is equals to D4 R bar, and the lower control limit, that is R chart, is LCLR, that is D3 that is R bar. The D4 and the D3 are the distribution factor, that the expressions D4 R bar and the D3 R bar estimated the following, that UCLR is equals to R bar plus 3 sigma R, and that LCR is L bar R bar minus 3 sigma R here. Now we'll understood about the process control in the reference towards the control chart and the objectives of the X and the R bar chart. The control charts are that aid in the management by the exceptions approach to maintaining the quality. A manager does not want to stop a process when it is operating in the stable manner within the natural tolerance, but on the other hand, when it is likely that the process has a change, attempts to identify the cause of the changes that should be made. In the reference towards it, that the control charts help in the differentiate between the changes caused by the natural variabilities in the process of the influences that have in the reference towards to cause the process to change, and it is the power to detect the real changes versus the natural variations that makes the control chart so important. In the reference towards the X bar chart here, that the center line of that X bar chart is usually set in the overall the grand mean that has been calculated as I had mentioned here, and that here G is the total number of the subgroup, where the ranges are for each of the group that can be calculated by the difference between the largest and the smallest value for each subgroup. Most textbooks of the quality control presents that the following equation for the comprising the 3 sigma upper and the lower control limits of for X bar charts here. In the reference towards it, if I'm talking about the R chart here, in the reference to the R chart, the centralized of the R chart is the set of the mean of the subgroup as I have mentioned here. The upper and the lower limit controls the sets of the three standard deviations are usually computed in the form. In the regard of it, now we'll discuss about the attribute charts that I had mentioned about it. In the attribute chart, that the controls for the attributes and are based on the countable and as well as countable rather than measurable characteristics. That the control chart is the category include that the P chart, that NP chart, and as well U chart and the C chart as well. In the regard of it, we will discuss about the P charts here, and here that will be the P charts is an inspected item that can be classified as either in the conforming or non-conforming, good or bad, defective or non-defective, passing or not passing, acceptable or not acceptable, and so on. These were the P and NP charts that can be used to monitor to control the process. Some of the example like characteristics and the process that are candidate for a P charting include like units of the product failing in the stress test, and the units of the product failing to meet the certain specification, and the chips falling a visual test for the surface imperfection, and the bottles of failing to be filled to a specified amount of levels as well. In the reference towards it, the computer chips are failing an electrical test here, that the key elements in the determining the whether the P charting is appropriate and to the inspected items fall into one of the two categories here. In the regard of it, typically the fractions non-conforming is plotted on the P chart, and although the fractions conforming could be charted as easily, a QC manager is usually more interested in a way to decrease the failure and the non-conforming units, and hence it seems more appropriate in most instances, and to concentrate on the negative rather than the positive characteristics. The only difference between the P chart and a NP chart is that a P chart shows the fractions of non-conforming items, and where the NP chart indicates the number of non-conforming items as well. When an inspected item set can be classified into the one of the two categories, the binomial distribution is appropriate for determining the control limits, and that centralized in the chart is a set of P1 bar, the mean of the data values, and the P1 dash as well. The mean of the process, if it is known, the standard deviation that can be calculated as the standard deviation of the binomial distribution with the parameters and sample size, or P dash, that is the fractional non-conforming, and P1 dash, that the average fractional non-conforming that can be calculated is like we can say that with regard of it, we will say that P bar equals to 1 upon K, and that is sigma K I equals to 1 and P of I here. In the regard of it, these were comes under the P chart here, and in the reference towards it there are many charts as well in the reference by discussing to this here. In reference towards it, there are the P charts and P charts and as well, and in the P chart, the P1 here, that is the P1 for the P of I, that is the fraction non-conforming for the sample I, and that where the P is the total number of the samples here. The standard deviations, we can say that for the representation, we can say that the sigma of P equals to P dash 1 minus P dash upon N. This is the formula, and where if the process average P dash is not known, it can be estimated by the P bar, and the estimated standard deviation is then has been written in the form here, and where that N is the sample size, and that P dash is the actual process average fractions non-conforming, and of course P is the average fraction non-conforming here. In the upper and the lower control limits set as the three standards deviations are that is UCLP, that P bar, that is 3 P dash, P bar of 1 minus P bar here, and in the regard of it, where the LCP as well, where the two variables control charge, that is an X bar and R, are needed to monitor and to control the measurable characteristics. Only one is needed for the attribute control charts as well. The changes in either of the mean of the variability will eventually show up on an attribute chart. However, the steps taken for using the either charts of the charts are same, and first the decision needs to be made as what characteristics will be classified into the two categories, that is the conforming and non-conforming. Once the DPUs is selected, and a sample size must be chosen, although the sample sizes of the 4 and 5 are often used for the X bar and the R chart sample size for the attributes of the usually much larger as well. In the regard of it, yes, we can say that the larger the sample size, the smaller the standard deviations of the and therefore the narrators of the control unit limits, and the sample size chosen should be a percent inspected for, therefore the data are readily available, and when the decision is made is to set up the attributes control chart as well. This make the data collection simple, but it is caused another problem if the simple sample is considered an entire day's productions, and for example like the sample size for one day may not be the same as the same sample on the other day. If the sample size n varies, then the control limits vary, and if the control limits vary, then the P charts will not have a constant upper limit and a lower limit. So some possible solutions to the problem that have been used in the practice to simplify the calculation include the following as well. That is, the first is that use only the first item inspected where the R is equals to the smallest number of the items sampled. The second is the use of the average sample size to determine the control limit. The third is to plot the control limits to the using smallest sample size and the largest sample size and show both on the charts, and the most appropriate solution in the plot variable that control limits and to the upper limit and the lower limit for each individual sample as well. Now we'll discuss about the NP charts here. An NP chart is used when it is desired to plot the number of the non-conforming items rather than the fraction non-conforming, and the center line of the chart is determined by the multiplying the average fraction non-conforming p bar by the sample size of or the n times p dash. The standard deviation of np we have is that the sigma f np, that is n of p here, and the difference towards it we can say that sigma of np under root n p dash 1 minus p dash here. This is the representation that we can say that, and it can be estimated by sigma of np dash is that is p bar, and that is 1 minus p bar as well. The upper limit for the UCL NP is n p bar plus 3 of n p bar 1 minus p bar, and LCNP is it is np bar minus 3 n p bar, and that is 1 minus p bar as well. Let's go ahead with another one that we have discussed here. In the case of the O charts here, that the P charts are used when an inspected item that can be classified in the either conforming and non-conforming operant. If the item does not conform or to a particular specification, it will not perform its intended functions, and therefore it is non-conforming item as well. The another situation arises when an item may not conform to the several specifications but may still perform adequately. A few minor non-conformance that may be tolerated, but too many are unacceptable. And a C type of a control that chart can be set up to monitor the number of the non-conformance per inspections unit as well. In the regard of it, with reference towards some examples of the inspection process that is appropriately for the C charting, including the following here. In the regard of it, we can say that the number of the air bubbles in the 12 ounces glasses bottles produced by the glass manufacturer is some number of the minor deviations from the specification in the manufactured part. Or we can say that in the case of the number of the surfaces imperfections per 100 feet of newsprint produced by the paper machines, or the number of the defective belts that per miles of pipeline, and number of printing errors per book page as well. In the C charting, each inspections unit must be same size. In the previous examples of the counting and the air bubbles that per 12 ounces glass bottles, and inspections unit in a 12 ounces bottle, if the bottles are packed in the boxes of 24 here. In the regard of it, and the inspections unit could be a box of 24 bottles, and the total number of bubbles in all 24 could be counted and plotted to the control chart as well. In the regard of it, yes, we can say that the Poisson's distribution is usually used to determine the control limits of the C charts, and for the Poisson's distribution to be appropriate, the inspection unit must be constant in size, and the distributions of the non-conformance must be random. In addition to the number of the opportunities of the non-conformance must be large, that is infinite, and the probability of the non-conformity at a particular locations within the inspections unit must be small as well. In the regard of it, the control limits, we will talk about the control limits, the control limits for the C charts are easy to determine, since the mean and the variance of the Poisson's distributions are the same. Three standard deviations control limits that can be calculated, like UCL, that is C bar plus 3 and root 3 under root C, and the LCLC, that is C bar minus 3 root 3. The lower control limit is set off at 0, and when that is at O, that negative value can be calculated, and because of the symmetric nature of the Poisson's control distribution here. In the regard of it, when three standard deviations are used for the control limit, there is not an equal probability of the point falling above and below the upper control limit and the lower control limit. And for this reason, some users of the C charts recommended the probability limit that sets that there is an equal probability of the point occurring above the upper control, and as well as in the reference towards the upper control, and with regard of it, yes, we can say that upper control limit and the lower control limit as well. For this reason, some users of the C charts recommended the probability limits that set so that there is an equal probability of the point, ensuring that occurring above the upper limit control limit and below the lower control limit as well. Now we'll talk about the U charts as well, and that in the reference for the U chart are used instead of the C charts when the areas of the opportunities and the non-conformances is not constant, or when one wants plot the average of the number of the non-conference per some specified dimensions instead of the total number of the conference per inspection unit. That U charts are appropriate instead of the C charts for the following: the average number of the air bubbles per glass bottles and inspections unit in the case of the 24 bottles, an average number of the surfaces imperfections per 100 centimeter length of the scales, and an inspections unit is a pair of the 150 centimeter skins and a pairs of 180 centimeters skis and a pair of 200 centimeters skis for a total number of 1660 centimeters here. Average number of the minor deviations from the specification per manufactured part, that the parts are the manufactured in the two sizes and the inspections unit in the group in the two parts and one of each case here. In the regard of it, the average number of the surfaces imperfection per tools to the newsprint produced in the by a proper paper machine and inspections unit is at 100 feet of the newsprint as well. In addition, a U chart with a variable control limits would be used for the following: that an average number of the non-conference per unit and inspection unit is the total number of the units that product produced per shift, and that the number of the units produced per shift varies as well. In the regard of it, the control limits, we can just write it down in the reference to the control limits, that is U bar, that is total number of the non-conference found upon sample sizes. The sample sizes might be the number of the units of the product that is produced by the inspections unit and the number of the linear feet produced per inspection unit, that the number of the pages that is present, and so on. And the U bar also can be determined from that. We can say that here that will be the U bar is equals to C bar upon N, where the C bar is the average number of the conference per inspection unit, and N is the sample number here, the sample size. Upper limit for UCL, we will just find it out for the UCL here, that is equals to U bar plus 3 under root U bar upon N, and for the LCL, that it will be the minus here, and that's the same. If the process of average U bar dash is known, it can be substituted for the U bar, and then N varies, and variables, controls, limits, and appropriate, and then comes with NII here. In the regard of it, we'll go ahead deep in this and in the forming or related to the the So here we'll end up with this class, and first of all it's a huge request to all of you, please अगर आप हमारे चैनल फर्स्ट टाइम देख रहे हो या अभी तक आपने हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, सो प्लीज़ गो थ्रू विद द सब्सक्राइब बटन, सो दैट जो भी हम वीडियोस डाल रहे हो आपके पास सबसे पहले पहुँचे। एंड सेकेंडली, अगर आपको हमारा वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो प्लीज़ हमारे वीडियो को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करो। एक्सेप्टेंस सैम्पलिंग से हम नेक्स्ट क्लास में स्टार्ट करेंगे। आज हम एंड अप कर रहे हैं यूनिट 1 में इंट्रोडक्शन, कॉन्सेप्ट्स ऑफ एंड स्कोप ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल मैनेजमेंट, प्रोडक्टिविटी डेफिनेशंस एंड मेजरमेंट्स एंड productivity index, and the types of production system, industrial ownership. Unit 2 है functions of management, tell us scientific management theory, FIOS, principles of management, social responsibilities of management, introduction to human resource management and the nature of HRM, function of importance of HRM. Unit 3 पे work study, introduction, definition, objectives, steps in the work study, method study, definition, objectives, steps in method study, work measurement, purpose, types of studies, stopwatch method, step allowances, standard time calculation, work sampling, production planning and control, inventory control, inventory cost, models of inventory cost, EOQ, ABC, WED as well. And unit 4 में quantity control here. Quality control में statistical quality control, control charts for the variations and attributes. Acceptance sampling हम next class में करेंगे, जिसमें हमें single sampling करनी है, double sampling करनी है, and introduction to QQM as well. And after that we'll start with unit 5 in the next coming classes, that is your project management, project network analysis, CPM part, and project crashing and resource leveling as well. So first of all, it's a huge request to all of you, please go through with the subscribe button and like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you, hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion on the comment box. Thank you.